Thank you for joining us today for this workshop, Balancing Career and Caregiving, a Strategic Approach to Manage the Day-to-Day. My name is Hazel Teichen. I'm the Elder Care Specialist and a part of Work-Life Employee Benefits at the University of Kentucky. So let's get started. Caregiving, where do you fit? There are only four kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need a caregiver. So some facts. About 25% of American families serve as unpaid caregivers to adult family members. Informal caregivers can be defined as those that are not professionally trained or compensated by institutions and that provide consistent care for family, friends, and loved ones. If caregivers were paid on the open market for their services, society would have to spend about $375 billion annually. Caregivers spend an average of 20 hours per week on caregiving, and I'm sure many of you would say more than that. And additional time is needed when the care recipient has more than one disability. 1/3 of all caregivers describe their own health as fair to poor. Caregivers may have depression and are more likely to become physically ill. In the 1900s, the average American could expect to live 47 years, but today life expectancy is 75. But chronic illness is common in the later years, and as a result, older people now require about 2 years of care prior to death. Caregivers often worry that they will not live longer than the person they care for. There are varying challenges to each caregiving role, and those can include financial strain, mental health struggles, difficulty navigating the caregiving role, lack of support to ease burden, giving up a job, and burnout. So this is a caregiving trajectory. I just like to share this because you may not even realize that once you've become a caregiver that where it all started. It's kind of a subtle kind of thing that can happen. So at the beginning, you're just, doing some sporadic care, simple caregiving tasks. You're maybe taking your loved one to a physician appointment, doing some light errands for them. You might be doing some checking in, communicating with their health providers. And then it goes up a little bit. Now you're having more responsibility with household tasks. You're making sure their medications are, that they're taking their medications correctly. You're managing finances. You're hiring care providers. You might be coordinating the care altogether. And you also provide the emotional support. And then it really picks up. Now it's increased care demands. Personal care, you're actually monitoring their behavior and their location. You're taking care of their personal care needs. You deal with the insurance issues. You provide acute care, manage symptoms. So you're really doing a full caregiving of services at this point, a lot of things for your loved one. And then we have end of life, where there's the advanced care planning. And we also are concerned with minimizing their suffering and symptom control. And then we have bereavement, which is what we go through after our loved one has passed. And all the energy that we've put into caregiving can be quite something. So role reversal. You now see yourself as the parent and your parent as the child. The parent used to take care of you, now you're taking care of them. So it truly is a role reversal. So what are the principles of caregiving? Well, caregiving doesn't ask if you're ready, it just begins. So there you go. Suddenly you're in it. So you want to acknowledge that you are a caregiver. You want to love, honor, and value yourself, including giving yourself grace often. You seek, accept, and at times demand help. So have your to-do list ready. People are willing to help. And they may ask, what can I do? And you say nothing. When the reality is you have things on your mind that could be helped by someone else. And so get that list together. Write your list of things that if someone asks, you'd be able to say, yes, would you do this for me? Caregiving will never be one size fits all. Every situation is going to be unique. Set boundaries when possible. And I encourage you to do this at the start as early as possible so that you're not trying to backpedal and put some boundaries in place. Do that as you enter into caregiving. Choose to take care of your charge of your life. Put your oxygen mask on first and remind yourself you're doing the best you can. So juggling it all, is this you? Are you trying to work, have a family, have your career, have things that you like to do, your hobbies and interests, your own health, everything that is expected and demanded of us, it's a lot to bear. So let's talk about proactive planning versus reactive crisis response. It's always going to be better to have a plan, even if the plan, you never end up using the plan. But the benefits of planning ahead is having peace of mind, improved access to care, financial preparedness, and personalized care. So things are, you've got options here, you've got choices. It can be very personalized to your loved one. Some of the challenges of planning ahead are resistance to change. They're not interested in changing. They have evolving needs, so we can plan ahead, but something might change. And then there's the complexity of options. If we haven't planned it out and something needs, there's a need that arises, there's too much. It can be overwhelming for us. Proactive planning versus reactive crisis response. So the benefit of a crisis response is, first of all, immediate action. You're going to get what you need right now, which is good. And then you're going to have a clear needs assessment. So one of the things that can come from that is now we have a baseline, we know what's going on, everything's been identified. Some of the challenges are to a crisis response is the limited options. We may not have nearly the options we would have had if we had been planning things out. We'll have increased stress because now we're in a crisis. There's financial strain because now it's maybe costing us for things we didn't anticipate. And then there's fragmented care. We don't have that smooth, comprehensive type of care plan. We've got bits and pieces that we're trying to pull together. So planning means better care and less stress. Proactive planning always allows for more personalized care, really geared towards your particular loved one. Better financial preparation. We kind of know what we've got. We know what things cost. We know how, what we're going to need to do down the road. Reduce stress on families. Earlier conversations. We want to try and have conversations way ahead of when we actually need to make a decision. It can bring in all the family members. So we're doing this more as a team and we're working together instead of trying to manage responses after something's happened. Time to work with professionals in a comprehensive plan. So you do get to actually pull things together, have an idea of the whole picture, not just a bit or a piece. You can navigate the complex elder care with greater confidence because you've identified things. You kind of have an understanding of the options. And then it's going to ensure a better outcome for your loved one because you're more likely to be able to have them experience what you thought would be the plan as you looked ahead. So when possible, let's take it off your plate. Know your loved one's wishes, prepare those advance directives. Not only prepare them, but know where they are, know what they say, make sure they're current, up to date. Even if you may be the POA or you may not, but let's make sure we know that those advance directives are in place. Get included in Medical My Chart. If you're the POA, you can sign on. And this will give you a chance to communicate directly with the physician and also get, access to records and appointment notes and things so that you have a better idea of what's really going on. You want to set up a file system for important information to stay organized. And I would suggest that you do this earlier versus later, right from the get-go if you can, because papers and important documents are going to start to accumulate. And instead of trying to organize them, once you've got a stack, you'd be able to file them just as they come in. You could either set up your own personal type of filing system, and you can even purchase some things online that would help with this, ways to stay organized. So I would make that a priority. It's always good to do a home safety check and look at some modification to prevent falls. Home safety check, things like night lights, grab bars, maybe they need a lift to stand chair, one of the electric chairs that can lift them up. And any kind of home modification that would help prevent those falls, because a fall is a game changer and we want to try and prevent those as best we can. Create a budget and set up like auto pay for utilities, credit cards, etc. That way you kind of have an idea, a better financial sense of what is available and how we need to budget that out and how we need to spend it. And also, if you have this auto pay, it takes the stress away from not only your loved one, but yourself. These things can just be taken care of and you don't have to think about it. Educate your loved one on scams and take every precaution available. Between AI and all the, we know seniors are vulnerable, they're targeted. And so we want to be sure that we teach them about scams, set up precautions on their phone, on their bank accounts, whatever we can, their credit reports, just to make sure that things are as safe as possible to prevent those scams. Make sure they know what to do if they get a call that they don't recognize, or what it would sound like if it was somebody trying to scam them, um, and do the best you can with that. Because I know that some of you are caregiving for someone with dementia or has some cognitive impairment, and they're not maybe going to be able to understand, but try to take every precaution that's available to protect them. Maybe you can order groceries online and have them delivered. That way you don't have to go to the store. You don't have to take them to the store. Everything could just be thought through and delivered. You can utilize Uber or GoGo Grandparent for safe senior transportation. These are great apps. They've come a long way. They actually have if you go to the website and look, you can see that they have a very easy way for you to actually set it up so that you're the one arranging the rides. Or, we know sometimes our elderly loved ones are not as tech savvy and they don't know exactly how to make it work. So we can help do that for them through these apps. And that might be a real good option for some transportation. Engage a neighbor to check in and help when possible. For many of us, the loved one has lived in their home for a long time. They've been in the neighborhood a long time, and neighbors are, right there, willing to help, check in when possible, maybe do an errand or two for you too. So don't disregard the benefits of asking a neighbor to help. So recognize that even with the best planning, crises still occur. No matter how hard we try. No crisis allowed this week. My schedule is already full. We can't avoid them, but we can try to be as ready for something when it happens as possible. I want to talk a little bit about the benefits of elder care services. Did you know that employees who use elder care services report fewer absences from work, fewer workday disruptions? They report reduced stress and a reduction in personal expenses such as long distance travel. So elder care resources includes confidential consultations. This is great. We have an online request form. You can go there. The nice thing about that is you can complete it at any time. It could be 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning or 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday. You can just complete the form, and once it's populated, it comes to me, and I'll reach out and set up a time for us to have a conversation so I can find out a little bit more about your particular needs and how it can help. I can do consultations for your loved one, whether they live in Lexington, in the state of Kentucky, or out of state anywhere in the country. And that's really a fun thing for me because it's a little bit like forensics. When it's out of state, I've got to do some digging. But I can certainly help find resources for your loved one no matter where they live. We do monthly work opportunities like workshops on a variety of topics, things of interest, things of benefit. And then we have our support group on the third Wednesday at noon via Zoom. And this is a great way for caregivers at all different stages of the caregiving continuum to come together and support each other. Some people have been caregiving for quite a while, and they may have some good solutions or answers for someone who's just started caregiving. So it's a very warm and welcoming group, and everyone's welcome to join us. Then we also do the In the Know newsletter that includes a blog. I usually pull something of interest to share, and it also has a lot of links to all the upcoming workshops and good resources, information. So if you want to receive that, you just have to let me know that you'd like to be added to the distribution for that, and I can make that happen. We have our website and online resources. We on the Elder Care website, there's a resources directory and toolkits, some standards there for you. We also have our Facebook private group, again, where I post some upcoming things, some helpful things, some, all things related to caregiving and self-care. If you want to be a part of that, you just have to ask to join. We just started an Elder Care Teams channel, which is another similar type to Facebook, except that we can communicate with each other and kind of share and enrich each other's caregiving challenges, things that are going on. So again, you can just request to join that Elder Care Teams channel. We have our annual caregivers events. We are doing the virtual dementia tour. This is an immersive type of exercise that will let you experience what it's like to actually function with dementia. That's coming up on Tuesday, October 28th this year, from 9 to 2, and you can go on to the work life calendar to request a time to go through the tour. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour, but well worth it. So you're welcome to do that. And we also do some aging and dementia related events. We do have a YouTube playlist of recorded workshops. This is great. There's probably 40 to 50 previously recorded workshops on a whole variety of topics, and you're welcome to go to the playlist there and find them. And I wanted to share this. This is what it looks like, so you know when you found it. This is the playlist, and you can see the most recent videos that we've had. Senior living, does one size fit all? That was all about all the senior living options. Declutter, where do we begin? That was trying to downsize and declutter, getting ready for remove. And we did one on physical and emotional hoarding. So lots of good things there. And I hope you'll take the opportunity to go and see what's available for you. Paid elder care leave. I want to just talk briefly about this. It is a 2-week period. It was 1 week, but went to 2 weeks in July of this year. So it's good for 1 year, and that's from the time of when you apply. You have to apply and get your paperwork in order and get it approved. Then it's a year from that time. So it's not a January to December. It's the year of that you're using. It doesn't have to be taken all at one time, which is nice. So you could take a couple hours to go to a doctor, take your mom or dad to a doctor appointment, or maybe you need to go cross country for a weekend and you need to add a couple extra days. So it doesn't have to be taken all at one time. You can only receive additional awards for this if there's a serious medical condition that's different from what you asked for last time, or if it's for a different parent. It can only be used to care for parents. It can't be used for aunts or uncles or mother-in-laws or father-in-laws. It's just for your parents. It's available on the first day of employment with UK. It's for regular staff. Faculty, WEPPS, and postdocs are not eligible. And the best thing to do is to contact the FMLA office for details and questions. Even though this sits in the elder care webpage, it is managed by the FMLA staff. So best to go there to make sure that you get the right information to request a leave. And this is the contact information for the FMLA group. Easy to just reach out, find out status of an application you put in or what you do with the paperwork. They're the ones with the expertise that can answer all those questions. These are the other services that are supported for caregivers with work life and well-being. We do have our monthly virtual workshops and support groups for a variety of these topics. These mental health therapists, you can get 5 free sessions a year. So if you thought you needed like a well-being checkup or tune-up, you could get a session. You don't have to take them all at one time. Nutrition, lots of good things here to help support your goals, whatever they are about your weight or your eating habits. This is also where you'll find the information about the farm vouchers and lots of good things for setting out a good plan for your diet needs. Personal finance, this is Cap Trust, which can help with your retirement accounts. Personal resilience, the health coaches that can help with, anything that's maybe including caregiver burnout, things like that, help build up your resilience to be able to stay well balanced. Physical activity is our fitness experts. We do have the 3 fitness memberships, gyms, classes, lots of things there. The UK employee discounts webpage. This is where you can find discounts on everything from caregiver, private duty support to hotels to handyman. So all kinds of things are available there. Hinge Health, which is the web or the app support for better health. MetLaw is our legal services that you do have to sign up at open enrollment, but it can help you with putting advanced directives in place and things like that. We have our flexible spending accounts, our tuition assistance program, and then our crisis program, which is for people who are experiencing, any staff that are experiencing maybe trouble paying a utility bill or something like that. So resources at home, local community resources, these are things that you can find in almost any community across the country, but sort of my recommendation is to start with the Area Agency on Aging. Every county in the country is connected to one of these or covered by one of these. So we have the Bluegrass Area Agency on Aging in Independent Living here in Lexington, Fayette County. They cover 17 counties in central Kentucky. But they're sort of an underutilized service. They're the ones that can help with waiver programs to get some caregiving in place. They've got some meal programs, all kinds of things related to aging. It may not be called the Area Agency on Aging in every county, but if you just Google the county and put in Area Agency on Aging, it'll come up. And then professional care managers, these are private pay versus public programs. These are professionals who are geriatric, they're sometimes called a geriatric case manager. And these are great for people who have a loved one who lives either hours away or somewhere across the country, because they can actually, you pay for the service, but they can do a plan of care. They can do things like help with medications. They can actually accompany your loved one to a physician's appointment and go in with them. So there can be a great sort of clinical support from a distance, and well worth it, well worth what the charges may be. Geriatric clinics, this would be like a Sanders Brown. You can find those, something like that, in other states across the country. Senior citizen centers, I think these go underutilized as well, because even if your loved one doesn't go to a senior citizen center, if you're looking for some resources for your loved one, they may have social workers on staff, and senior citizen centers tend to know a lot about what's available because they get this kind of question, this kind of asks all the time. So you could always check out a senior citizen center to see if they know of a resource. Emergency response systems to help with that safety, telephone reassurance programs, a lot of those are available. Elder law attorneys that can help with everything from the, advanced care documents, the wills, things like that. So they're specialists in elder law, and they can really help with those, things, Medicaid. They can help with the Medicaid, how to, do you qualify, whatever. Financial planners, same thing. A lot of them are, specialize in planning with for either long-term care or other kinds of expenses that come up from through caregiving. The Veterans Administration, there is the VA aid and attendance, and if you qualify, if your loved one served and they qualify, then you can get some assistance, financial assistance for care in a assisted living or at home. Senior move managers, this is someone who would help come in, kind of assess the situation, help with decluttering, getting rid of your things that are no longer necessary, or if you're getting ready for a move or your loved one needs to move into a nursing home or a senior living place, they can help with all the, kind of managing all the belongings and get things cleared and distributed for you. Senior living placement advisors, this would be someone like a place for mom. We have in Lexington here, we have senior Silver Lexington, which is two women that are experts in all the senior living options that are available. These don't usually cost a fee. Their services are free. And they really know, they can really take that overwhelming, there's 15 facilities. I have no idea what to look for, where to start, what to look, what to expect, what I should be paying, anything. And they will just meet with you, do sort of an assessment, see what would be a good fit for what your interests are and also your budget. So definitely well worth checking in with that. Home modifications and equipment, we talked about that. Again, this gets back to safety and fall prevention. We want to be sure that we have whatever we need in place to make sure that we can avoid as much as possible any falls that might have a detrimental outcome. And then churches, sometimes maybe your loved one belonged to a church, still does. You might check with the church to see if they have any kind of a senior program or volunteer service. There may be someone that'd be willing to take your loved one to church. So don't disregard what might be available through the church. Technology, I just want to mention some of these medical alert items. Alexa for seniors, this is great. It's the kind of thing that your loved one, if something happened, they wouldn't have to have their phone to make a call or any pendant to push. They could just ask Alexa for help, or they can do medication reminders. You could say, Alexa, call my son, whatever. So this is a great option that might be well worth it for your loved one who's maybe struggling a little bit more at home to stay safe. Medical alert, buyer's guide, there's the lifeline. These are the ones that we typically think of that hang around your neck or on your wrist. Some of them have tracking devices so that like a GPS, you know where your loved one is if they happen to wander or drive and get lost. There's also one called Fall Call, and it actually can detect when a fall has taken place. So all kinds of things out there available now, and one or more might be offer some of that, a reassurance that they're going to be taken care of if anything happens. There's apps for coordinating caregiving. There's lots of them, lots of different kinds. This is just a few. There's lots of helping hands. They can put together a care calendar. You can keep everything organized. They can share well wishes for family, announcements, a photo gallery, all kinds of communication support. The Caring Bridge, that's family caregivers. They come with support for a loved one on a health journey. There's tools to share, document updates to simplify care coordination. So again, if you have siblings that live in other states and you're all trying to work together to make sure you're providing the right coordination for your loved one, these kind of things might be very beneficial for you. Caregiving from a distance, this is a unique challenge. And again, that distance could be a couple hours away or across the country. So these are some state and national resources, just a good list of places that you would help regardless of where your loved one lives. There's the Elder Care Locator. Alzheimer's Association has lots of videos, fact sheets, articles, lots of good information to help with training and understanding all kinds of things that are available there. ARP provides an array of publications that are really good, lots of good stuff there. National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization. We've got the Association of Home Care, Adult Day Services. Here's that National Association of Geriatric Case Managers. If you wanted to try and find someone that could do some of that clinical support of your loved one, you could start there. The American Association of Homes and Services, Administration on Aging, and the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. So open enrollment is October 15th, coming up just in a week or so. And if you had any questions about Medicare, there is the new Medicare 2026 guide that you can download. But you can also find on the site in there, you can find a lot of information about what Medicare does cover, what it doesn't cover. Same with Medicaid services. How does it work? What are the different programs that are available? How do I apply? All those things. So that's a good resource as well. National Center for Assisted Living. You can find out about assisted livings and do some comparative looking at things in wherever it is your loved one lives. If you're considering assisted living, you can get some good information on the variety of places there. The Department of Veterans Affairs, of course, is always good. Nursing Home Compare, this is where you can go if your loved one is either in a nursing home or has to get into a nursing home. You can go on here and actually they compare, Medicare compares the nursing homes on a variety of survey points or data points, and you can go in there and see, how many dings they've gotten, how is their staff ratio, different things like that. So that's a good resource. The Ombudsman Locator, I don't know if you're familiar with what an ombudsman is, but that is sort of the consumer public connection to nursing homes. So an ombudsman is the advocate for residents of nursing homes. They really are the voice, and they can be very helpful in with finding out, like, what does it take to get into a nursing home? What about Medicaid? How does that work? What does it take? We do have, although this is the Kentucky State Ombudsman's phone number, we do have a local ombudsman office here in Lexington, but they are nationwide. There's ombudsman across the country, so you should be able to connect with one wherever your loved one lives. But they can be a great resource for helping you in what can be a very difficult time to make a decision. Family Caregiver Alliance, they have a great website, but they also have this resources by state. So while they're located in California, you can go in and put in any state in the country, and they have a whole list of direct resources that are available in each state. So that's a really great resource, and I use it quite a bit myself. Here's some websites to consider. That Family Caregiver Alliance I mentioned, Elder Care Online, AARP, the Alzheimer's Association, Caregiver Action Network. And then I just wanted to mention that you may even, if your loved one has a specific comorbidity like Parkinson's, stroke, or maybe congestive heart failure or whatever, you might look for a disease-specific national and local association, because a lot of times you can get some really great resources, things that are available online through those disease-specific sites. So give that if it's appropriate, give that a consideration. Legal planning, again, if you wanted to find an elder law attorney, you could go to this National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys, Inc., and find an attorney that specializes in elder law in your area. The National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization, they do provide state-specific advanced directives. So if you needed to complete one and you weren't sure what you should use, then you could go there to find the one for your state. And that concludes the presentation portion. And I thank you for coming today, and ready to take some questions.